Let's move on to our Opportunity Live segment. As always, we love to showcase opportunity and great civic organizations and social good organizations. And we're not going to disappoint you today. Today, our guests are George McDonald. He's the founder and president of the Doe Fund, and Carlos Jones, who is a graduate of the Doe Fund and who also works at the Doe Fund. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
And I have to admit my bias. I spent Christmas Day with the Doe Fund at Grand
Singing.
Central. Singing, yeah. We sang some Christmas carols together, and it was a candlelight vigil, which thankfully the NYPD allowed to happen because they were trying to kill it. But we persisted.
Don't remind me. And it wasn't
yes.
the NYPD.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, it was Grand
the
Central?
railroad police. Typically in America, the railroad police act in a different way than the normal police.
So why don't we start with the unbiased and ask just you to let me know what the Doe Fund is, because I've been in London all week.
I'm going to let Carlos.
Carlos.
Oh, the Doe Fund is a program that offers opportunities to individuals that are homeless.
And formerly incarcerated as well.
Incarcerated as well, yes. Our program, we transition individuals from New York City shelter systems into our program, which is Ready, Willing, and Able. Our building is also a shelter, but the Ready, Willing, and Able program is housed inside the building.
And it's paid transitional work. So the folks come and do everything with us over 9 to 12 months that we would hope that they would do after they leave us. So what the mirroring, in other words, they work and get paid money. They're required to save some of that money, pay a little stipend in rent, and those kind of things that they're going to have to do when they graduate. And then they go on and get jobs. We help them. And a place to live that they pay for with the job. And in Carlos' case, he's going to college now and further their education. They take advantage of the opportunity that's presented to them, and that's the key. We have had mass incarceration of African American men in America for drugs that basically people who look like me get delivered to their front door instead of sent to prison for. So in a recognition of that and people coming home, we wanted our program to mirror what the societal outcome would be. So we drug test twice a week, and we pay people every week. So they have a combination of money and the ability to buy drugs if they want to with that money. And when we first started many, many years ago in 1990, you should excuse me, Carlos, they said that people wouldn't do that. People, if you pay people, they're only going to spend it on drugs. So
I want to go back to that because what you said a second ago might have rung a little bit strange to some of our viewers because
sure,
it sounded like you
sounded like the
it sounded
truth.
like you said we give them money and let them go buy drugs if they want to. But obviously that's
sorry.
not your intention.
Oh, no.
You're saying you're giving them the free will to choose to do with what
exactly,
they want.
because in 1990 when we first started, the quote experts said, the last thing you can do is give them money for their work because they'll only spend it on drugs. And we said the first thing that we have to do in America is pay for people's work. And then we have to make sure that they don't want to spend it on drugs, that they want to spend it on their children.
What makes them want that? Like, what are the conditions that cause recidivism, and how what you're doing is improving
we've established a positive culture. So everybody, that's what does it. We have an organization that has helped tens of thousands of men, and we have 450 employees. Carlos is one. 70% of them are graduates of our program. So they walk the walk. They know, they come from it. It's not a white guy in a suit telling them what to do because he thinks it's the best thing for them. It's organically the organization has grown.
Yeah, no, and for any of our viewers, if you're coming to New York and you visit New York, or if you live here in New York, you might have seen the men in blue. We've been showing some pictures up on screen of they're cleaning the streets. They are investing, and I've gone to a few different Doe Fund events, and one consistent theme they all say is, I used to go run around these streets and really wreak havoc on the streets. Maybe I was involved in violence. Maybe I was shooting people on the streets. and now I am giving back and I am cleaning the streets and I'm making my city a better place. But Carlos, can you talk more about your personal story? Like, what was your personal journey before the Doe Fund? How did you find the Doe Fund, and what has it meant for you?
Well, I mean, just like you just mentioned, a lot of the guys talk about how they used to run the same streets that they clean up now. Well, one of the streets was 34th Street, where prior to the Doe Fund, I used to run up and down and break laws, put it that way. And it was in 2014 when I found myself coming home at Port Authority from a state prison that I was just telling George that I had wrote out a plan for myself, because a person gets sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they start to get to an age such as myself to where I says, well, I have to start looking for a future for myself. And I thought that, okay, let me go to the Doe Fund, because the Doe Fund is where it's going to provide me that opportunity that I need. Not only the opportunity, but it's going to give me that space where I can really map out what my future is
But
going to
you
be.
got off of the bus. What happened?
When I got off the bus,
I mean, you just got dropped off on
I just got
34th Street on
dropped off.
parole.
The same street.
And his address on
My
parole
address.
is a homeless shelter
Yeah.
on 30th Street. But they're dropping him off at the bus station.
Yeah.
Right? On parole. That's it. I mean, that's it. Think about that.
There's
for a
not
minute.
much support given
No,
to
there's
people
not
who get off
support.
parole. I mean, talk
Here,
about that
get
a little
off the
No.
bus.
And so when someone is released from incarceration, the support services are not there. So
what
how
did
did you
you do?
know?
No. So what happens is I get dropped off at Port Authority. Okay, from Port Authority bus, just dropped off there, and I have to make my way to 30th Street Men's Shelter. So a lot of the individuals don't even make it to 30th Street because there's nobody there to greet them. They're coming home. It's like coming home from a war. And the vet is there, and he's like, where is everybody? I just fought for this country, or whatever it is. So I'm stuck there at 34th Street, and I stand outside, and I'm like, wow, I got to make it out of here.
How long were you?
I was away for 2.5 years, which has been a rough road for me. And I had to make my way to 30th Street Bellevue Men's Shelter.
And then what happened when you got there?
When I got there, I had to do an intake. When I walked in, I mean, the smells, it was horrible. And I says, well, I have to get out of here, you know? But it wasn't even 24 hours that I was shipped towards Allen to another shelter where the K2 was running rampant. My nose stayed in flames.
And how did you find the Doe Fund?
Well, I mean, I knew of the Doe Fund. I've all
It was
kind-
just a question of trying to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But keep
the
on
journey
going.
was not easy.
No, the
Yeah.
journey wasn't easy. I've always known of the Doe Fund because I've seen the guys in blue. So I made my way to 155th in Frederick Douglass.
Now the Doe Fund is funded by. How do you get
A
your support?
combination of originally when we started out, we did $2 million a year in revenue generating work for the Housing Preservation and Development Department. So we did non-union labor, cleaning out apartments, plastering, taping, painting, that kind of rubbish removal. And then since then, we've expanded our base to about a third of the revenue we generate through work. So we get paid for the work that we do, and then we pay our folks and the good old.
And the work you do is for.
Well, we do. We have a pest control business. We have a culinary arts business. We do revenue generating work.
And private citizens can hire.
Oh yeah, and they do, but and we have 400 to 500 employers that hire our folks, and then a third of our revenue comes from government for services we provide, the housing, the security, food, and all of that, and then a third comes from foundations and citizens and generous individuals. So we try not to be reliant on any particular. We're not reliant on government.
So someone watching right now who wants to support the Doe Fund would be best to do that through a contribution or through hiring employees for services.
all of the above.
And how do they do that? How do they find
Well,
out?
Doe.org, of course, in this modern age, is a very easy way to accomplish all of that.
And you can get a link to that on bold.global also.
Yep.
So
So-
it's incredible. It's incredible work that you're doing, and I find that as we talk to people here on the show about a lot of the philanthropic work they're doing, a lot of it is born out of a lack of service being provided by, the government.
Oh, of course,
And so,
of course, but that's the role of not-for-profits in our system, is to do those kinds of things. And if you do something that then has the ability to have scale, which this does in America, America is ready, willing, and able to put folks at the bottom to work doing constructive things for our country. And we will accomplish much more than just putting somebody to work when we do that.
I love that. We'll end it
Yeah.
on that. George McDonald and Carlos Jones, thank you very much
Thank
for
you so
joining
much
us.
for this opportunity.
Doe.org, you can find out more about how you can support the Doe Fund. You can go to bold.global and do the same thing.
That's right.
It's a very,
And opportunitylives.com as well.
There you go.
The Doe Fund was one of the featured charities for Opportunity Lives. They had a giving calendar last year during the holiday season. So it was the #1 charity on the first day of the giving calendar. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, it's been a interesting show as always. You were getting played off right there. You didn't know you didn't have the earpiece in, and the orchestra had to go take a break, I guess. But we've gone over a little bit today, but that's because the conversations were entertaining and informative.
Yes,
as they always
and
are.
we're glad that you joined us for this discussion. And we had some really great comments. We had a lot of activity today. So
We'll do it again next week. See you here, same time,
see
same
you
place.
there.